This video contains the most important and required traits of any successful student. To be clear, a successful student is someone who learns and retains information well, studies effectively, applies the information they learn into the real world, and strives to be successful. If you see yourself being described in these traits, then you're on the right path. If you don't align with these traits, then make the necessary changes to your life and personality. Remember, you have the potential to be a successful student. All it takes is the desire and effort to become one. Sleep. Successful students take their sleep seriously. They have a strict sleep schedule and they stick to it. If you want to succeed as a student, then you need to ensure that you go to bed at a good time each night and wake up early each day. Successful students get the right amount of sleep each night, but no more. They are up early every morning because their time is important to them and they know that they need to get a head start on their day every single morning. If you want to try something that allows you to see the successful students of your school, then wake up 2 hours before you'd ever dare to and go to the lounge, libraries, or common areas of your school. The handful of students studying every single morning at that hour or getting a head start on their day in some other way, such as working out or going for a run, are the ones you want to idolize and hang around because they know what they're doing. Another trait successful students tend to value highly is organization. In order to be a successful student, you need to keep everything organized. Your desk, your files, notes, test and assignment dates, your room, backpack, or even your pencil case. A successful student makes an effort to have everything in its place. This helps declutter their mind and their physical environment, as well as promoting productivity. Time management. This is something a successful student takes extremely seriously, and if you don't, then you need to reevaluate your view of the clock. Everything from having a detailed calendar on the wall and keeping daily schedules to wearing a bloody watch just so you know what time it is. And no, your phone doesn't count, guys. It's a distraction every time you look at the screen and you see a notification on the home screen. Something else that's important to a successful student is the area in which they study. Creating a good study space can be the difference between being fully prepared for a test and walking into the classroom nervous. Ensuring that you have a neat, spacious, quiet, accessible study space is essential to getting a great study session in whenever you need to. Think of it this way. Studying is important to you as a student, and your study space is where that occurs, so it should be maintained and exceptional. No point in having a sports car if the road you drive it down is full of potholes, bumps, and trees, right? Take notes. Now, this is something a lot of students do, so it's not necessarily a determining factor of a successful student, but it's definitely something they all do. Taking notes in class is not only essential for studying after class and organizing the information you've learned in each class, but it also keeps you engaged in the lesson itself and gets your mind thinking more about the information that's being presented to you. Acting serious and professional. Successful students take school seriously. There's no doubt about it. They don't treat it like one big party. They understand that it can open doors and present opportunities to them that can change the course of their lives, and as a result, they act, dress, and even smell professional. Sit up straight in class. Dress professionally. I didn't say expensively, I said professionally. Remember, dress shirts can cost the same as sweatpants if you shop at the right stores. Put effort into your classes and pay attention in class. Walk into every classroom like it's a boardroom, holding the biggest meeting of your career, and treat it as such. Study effectively. Not only does a successful student study diligently and daily, but they make an effort to adjust their studying methods to make their information retention and study time more effective. Going through textbooks and notes with a highlighter, or just purely reading them, does little to nothing in the long run. To be successful, you have to do your research on the best studying techniques like the Feynman technique or the mind mapping method, so you study more effectively. It doesn't matter which studying method you choose, just as long as you find one that works for you and makes your studying time efficient and productive. Successful students care about their health. They understand that their health directly correlates with their academic performance and abilities. Everything from nutritional health to physical to mental and everything in between. If you want to learn more about being healthy and active as a student, you can go to my site and read my complete health guide for tips on how to be a healthier student. They avoid getting overwhelmed. Now, this is a big one. School is stressful and students can always find themselves falling into a breakdown, which can be the worst at times of exams and important assignments when productivity and focus are key. Successful students take precautions to ensure that their stress levels don't overflow. They take study breaks when they need to and for appropriate amounts of time. They also focus on one thing at a time to ensure that they get more done in the time that they're working, instead of overwhelming themselves by trying to get 100 things done at once. They use stress management techniques. As previously said, school can be extremely stressful at times. Successful students know this and act upon this knowledge by implementing stress management strategies into their lives. Whether they have daily routines for meditation and exercise, or they have emergency routines they do when they are starting to feel stressed. Regardless, they do what works for them. Find what works for you so you can integrate it into your own life. They set goals. Knowing how to set goals is one of the most important aspects of being a successful student. Without goals, you're directionless. You have no drive. You don't know what you're aiming at. How are you supposed to shoot a target if you don't even know where that target is? Setting goals effectively increases drive and forces you to hone in on what will lead you to being successful. Successful students don't party, at least not often. If you just rolled your eyes when I said that, then you may want to consider re-evaluating your seriousness about school. Yes, it's important to have fun and enjoy your youth, whatever that means for you. But successful students that are truly serious about school understand that there is no academic gain from partying and that they actually often result in declining your academic performance. As a result, they do not party as often as other students. A successful student doesn't have time to stay up late and sleep in the next day only to be hungover until the next night and then do it all over again. They don't have time for that because they are too busy studying and mapping out their academic success. Evaluate your seriousness about school. It's something worth looking into. So what does this all come down to? While I could list off traits of successful students until my computer dies, what it all comes down to is when talking about being more successful in school or in any area of life, there are two things that everything else is sourced from: time and effort. If you're not producing the results you want, then something has to change in terms of the time you put in and the effort you put in. Whether it's your grades that aren't doing as well as you want them to be, or your professor doesn't like you, or your group projects don't perform well, or even just making friends is something that you struggle with. Whatever the case is that you want to do better in, I'm telling you this: you need to either put in more effort, devote more time, or both. It really is as simple as that. If you stick to this philosophy like it's your own being, I assure you, you'll start to see some massive changes in your life. All the traits we've talked about are highly valued by successful students. You have the power within you to become a more successful student than you are right now, and all it takes is being devoted and committed to becoming more successful in your academic performance. Being successful is quite simple because a lot of it is looking at successful people and doing what they do. Well, I've presented you with what a successful student does. All you have to do now is do what they do. Go get it.